Welcome. I am Reverend Montclair, and this is Monday Church with Reverend Montclair. Today is Monday, April 14th, 2025. I have a lot on my mind today, and I'm sure you do too. Some of us have a lot of worries right now about money. Some of us have a lot of worries about what is going on in the government. Some are worried about what is going on with the ICE kidnappings. Others of us are wondering and worried about where this whole thing is going. Some of us are fine. We're not worried about a thing. We think everything is going great because we're only watching one news station that is portraying this takeover of democracy as a positive and enlightened version of our government. I disagree with that sentiment, and I believe it is important for us to speak truth to power, to embody truth, to live by our values, and to continue to have a compassionate heart throughout this process, even if we are angered, even if we are condemning what the current administration is doing, and to also find time for joy in our lives, to make sure we take good care of ourselves and those we love, and to speak out, speak up, and to do our part by being the best that we can be and by being brave and being present. To that end, I have written a letter um, that is called An Open Letter to Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt from Reverend Montclair, and I will read that to you now. Dear Miss Leavitt, I watched the Art of Professionalism training video that you were featured in, issued by the Heritage Foundation for Project 2025. This video was recorded after your participation in the first Trump administration as Assistant to Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, and prior to the current administration where you have risen to the role of Press Secretary, clearly patterning your execution of this role after McEnany's. I agree with points made in this video as to how to present oneself and interact with others in a professional manner, such as staying informed with current events, being well read, familiarizing yourself with institutional knowledge, being competent and appropriate, being reliable and dependable, being a person of your word, treating other people with respect. Treat others around you as if they have earned the right to be where they are. Owning your mistakes, not being arrogant. Do what you say you're going to do. Support the people who are counting on you to do your job. The importance of emotional intelligence. Being conscientious and acting with integrity. Striking a balance between contributing without dominance. Recognizing that the work that comes out of your department reflects on you. Recognizing that what you put out is what you'll get back. Acknowledging your boss is not your friend. And recognizing that even your boss must answer to someone. Even the president must answer to the American people, and I quote you here, because we still live in a democracy after all. In the wake of this training video, I have observed you departing from these stated values and competencies. I have concerns about your lack of professionalism in the office of which you hold. Using the list above, I cite number 1, arrogance. Number 2, lack of being a person of your word. 3, being disrespectful. 4, not treating others around you as if they have earned the right to be where they are. 5, potentially not staying informed with current events using only Fox or conservative news talking points does not speak of being well read. 6. Not acting with integrity. 7. Apparently not familiarizing yourself with the institutional knowledge of how our democracy works and what laws the president must abide by, and being mindful of recognizing that even your boss must answer to someone. Even the president must answer to the American people. One curious deflection I witnessed you use, one that Trump himself also uses, is to accuse others of that which is actually happening in this administration. You have recently brought up Biden's mental health as a distraction from Trump's own. Thousands of mental health experts in this country, Dr. John Gartner and others, have signed petitions in 2017 and 2024 stating that Trump is exhibiting significant mental decline into characteristics of an advancing Alzheimer's diseased state, in addition to his other narcissistic and personality disorders that was observed during his first term. His thoughts are not linear nor comprehensible. He mixes up people repeatedly. He is in effect becoming a puppet president because he does not have the clear thought nor foresight necessary to lead or determine policy. He is erratic, petulant, lawless. Was Biden losing it at the end of his term? It sure seems so. That's why he was replaced by Kamala to run for office. Is Trump losing it at the beginning of his term? Yes. This is now. This is important. This is real. Do not deflect or distract. We, the people, have a right to know. Being a person of your word doesn't just mean in the office with your colleagues. It means speaking truth to all. It doesn't mean doubling down on a false claim and repeating it ad nauseum until it is believed, like you may have observed during your internship at Fox News. That's the stuff of oppression and dictatorships. It's called propaganda. And yes, Fox lies. Fox profits handsomely from its lies and stirring up controversy with false claims. It is concerning that you grew up in a household where Fox was on all the time, because you seem to have become accustomed and comfortable speaking falsehoods to those you deem inferior to yourself and your party agenda. I have seen you do the opposite of treating others with respect and treating others as if they have earned the right to be where they are in your interactions with the press, arrogantly asserting that you and your team will now determine who has access to the White House and Air Force One. That is called oppression and silencing the free press, neither of which belong in a democracy that values freedom. Have you abandoned your love of freedom? Your love of this country? Certainly, you have abandoned your love of truth, if that was even a value of yours to begin with. And your disrespect of Democrats is palpable despite being fellow Americans, citizens that make up half of this country at 49%, whereas Republicans, also fellow Americans, citizens, make up the other half at 48%. These stats from 2024. We all have the right to be here and to be heard, whether we were born here, born light or dark or somewhere in between, or whether we immigrated, as so many of our and your ancestors did. I ask you now to stop treating Americans with such blatant disrespect. It's not professional, and it reeks of hubris. I wouldn't have chosen the use of the feminist title Ms. for you, an apparent supporter of the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025, which clearly seeks to disempower women despite your contrary assertions. You are no longer a Miss since your marriage to Mr. Riccio in January. But it appears you did not change your name to your husband's name, thus I did not address you by a name you do not claim, despite your change in marital status. Perhaps this is a modern choice or a well-informed one, so you would not lose any voter rights under the SAVE Act, the contents of which you were likely very well informed of prior to your role as press secretary, specifically the parts where all voters' names must match their birth certificate. You likely have a U.S. passport and even perhaps on hand a birth certificate, or at least the financial means and political clout to obtain these and other documents that may be required to prove your citizenship by whatever state you choose to live in, which will vary state to state because of the ambiguity written into this act. But many women in America today do not have the same means. Not every woman in America that conceives a child out of wedlock like you did. By the way, sex before marriage is condemned as a grave sin by the Roman Catholic Church, and for you to participate in this is very liberal of you, is married by the man of her dreams, let alone the father of her child after the child is born. I and many women in America today could imagine the relief you felt as a pregnant and unwed young woman when your lover stepped up to be the dad of your child and your legal and spiritual partner as husband. Many women in similar situations are instead abandoned by their families, abandoned by the father of their child, abandoned by their church community, and called sinful, harlot, whore, or worse, even if the pregnancy was due to rape. Despite your disingenuous deflection from the real risks noted by legal experts of the potential of the SAVE Act of disenfranchising 69 million American women's hard-won right to vote in this country, you dismiss it as Democrats' fear-mongering and label women, many single moms, those not as wealthy or as able to jump these new hurdles to vote as you, unmotivated voters. Your condescension is loud and clear. Trump's very clear intention of ending birthright citizenship is another issue of very significant concern of all citizens in America today that speaks of the blatant corruption and illegal intentional acts of this administration and of its true intent to rule tyrannically with no concern for citizens' freedoms, rights, or safety, nor of democracy itself, or the freedom, rights, and safety of the citizens of our longest held allied nations. What this administration does with your professional, persistent, and apparently proud support must be owned by you too, as you consistently deny the hidden truths of this administration's actions and their intent to ram through Congress the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025 agenda, which is equal to Agenda 47, an agenda that you took great pains to differentiate and deny any similarities to Project 2025 prior to Trump's second term. Despite only 4% of American citizens' approval of this agenda, you and your party persist. In your heady idea of professionalism and apparent intoxication with power, you have abandoned the very people you are supposed to be serving. Because we, the people, all of us, are still waiting on you to do your job to serve the American people, and not to bow to an elitist white nationalist agenda masquerading as Christian values, nor bowing to the insatiable ego of Donald J. Trump, whom you apparently perceive as your ultimate boss, since you have chosen him over your newborn child, over your religion, over the American people, and over living your life with integrity, with honesty, with clarity of heart, by not, because you are not following the path of a true Christian, of which I see you still claim to be by the cross you wear around your neck. Are you aware that the leader of your Roman Catholic religion of origin, Pope Francis, has denounced the cruel immigration, denial of migration, deportation policies of the Trump administration? Do you care? A true Christian's actions would fall in step with the teachings of Jesus to love one's neighbor, to feed the poor, to clothe the hungry, to have mercy. For what you do to the least of these, you do to me. Those words of Jesus, if you've forgotten. No, Miss Leavitt, your boss is not your friend. And yes, the work that comes out of your office reflects on you. But you may be too young to see far enough in the future and too ignorant of history to understand the consequences of your actions for defending the indefensible. To quote Pope Francis, a person who thinks only about building walls, wherever they may be, and not building bridges, is not a Christian. You, as gatekeeper to the White House, to Trump's policy, parroted from the Heritage Foundation goals, have built many walls between American citizens and the truth, by denying access to reporters of high standards, by ridiculing legitimate questions and concerns, by making absurdly false and judgmental statements such as, "You guys should all be very grateful that we have one of the most transparent administrations in history," despite blatant evidence of the opposite, including the Department of Defense intentionally circumnavigating required by law record keeping by using an unsecured and non-recorded method of communication on Signal. Ms. Leavitt, in 20 years, you will be 47. Your son will be 20. Your husband may or may not still be by your side. But what will be present is the America, or the shadow of America, that you helped to create by denying access, denying truths, denying responsibility, denying harm, denying accountability, denying incompetence, denying the law, denying democracy. And what will also remain is who you have become as you practice daily the tools of your office, as you lie to and gaslight the American people in order to facilitate lying, cheating, stealing, kidnapping, human rights violations, insider trading, enslavement, cruelty, deportations without due process, and the removal of all the rights we got to grow up with, like the right to peaceful dissent, the right of freedom of speech, and the right to choose our president and our faith. But your son will not. I don't know, Ms. Leavitt. Maybe you are a die-hard Nazi with a dead heart and are thrilled at the prospect of a totalitarian government based on hate, vengeance, prejudice, and power. It certainly appears Hegseth, Vance, Trump, Musk, and others are Nazis in this administration of heartless, self-serving, and cruel policies. If so, please take the cross from your neck and stop pretending you are any form of a Christian or a woman of faith in God, or the creator of all the varieties of humanity, or one who believes in love or kindness, because you certainly aren't practicing it. But if you are not a die-hard Nazi with a dead heart, look clearly at what you are doing. Look beyond the pride of holding the position you hold. beyond the learned skills of the efficiency and exactness with which you have learned to slay the press briefing, while simultaneously slaying your own integrity. And ask your heart if this, your dream job, is the best you have to offer the world. I hope you take the time to listen, because your heart will answer. Today, Katy Perry and 5 other notable professional women took an 11-minute flight into space, giving them a perspective shift that most of us will never have. Upon landing, when Perry was asked by the respectful and compassionate reporter how this experience rated with her many accomplishments and successes in her prestigious, record-breaking career, Perry answered, "It was second to being a mom. Raising a child, especially a child of one's own, is one of the most difficult and rewarding experiences in this life. And if you miss it, there's no going back. You have only the first 6 years to get it right. And if the reason you miss it, you later realize was because you were feeding your own ego dreams and the ego dreams of others while feeding lies to all around you, you can expect a lifetime of regret and, yes, guilt, which will make you want to spoil your child ruthlessly, thus ruining his character for the rest of his life. I am all for women working in some meaningful endeavor while raising their children. Women need a life of their own too. I am calling into question here not the fact that you are working, but what you are raising when you are not raising your son. Choose wisely, Ms. Leavitt. Choose courageously. And may you and your family and the United States of America benefit from the wisdom and courage you find in your heart. Take 11 minutes, Ms. Leavitt, 11 minutes a day, and truly listen, because the divine speaks through the heart. If, however, you have already lost your ability to listen to your heart because you are so focused instead on vainglory and a radical conservative movement, along with 140 other colleagues of yours, then you have lost the most vital part of being human, in which case we the people can expect to see more of the same dismissive, disrespectful, dishonest, disparaging, and disgraceful twists and misuse of language you have been practicing thus far to build walls and strong arm the not so hidden and very much not Christian agenda and not American agenda of this administration. Remember, Ms. Leavitt, arrogance is fear. And the current administration, with you as its spokesperson, are swimming in it. I hope you and we the people don't drown as the ship of our democracy sinks under the weight of millions and millions of lies. Time is of the essence. We are in the 11th hour. It's high time to take that 11 minutes a day and listen to your heart. Then act accordingly and courageously. Sincerely, Reverend Montclair. Reverend Montclair is a nonpartisan spiritual counsel. Thank you for listening. Again, do your part. And yes, everything is sacred, and everyone is sacred. And to treat anyone as less than that certainly is not Christian, is an affront to the divine and an affront to your soul. And the more we deny that we ourselves are responsible for our actions and the results of our actions, the more we live untruths, the more that we are further away from our soul and further away from the divine and further from our hearts. So maybe you live close to your heart, close to your values, and close to those you love. I am Reverend Montclair. This is Monday Church with Reverend Montclair. And may you walk in beauty, with beauty before you, with beauty behind you, with beauty above, with beauty below, with beauty all around you. May you walk. Do your part. Till next time, be well, be healthy, and endeavor to enjoy your lives. Thank you.